Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be responding to a viewer comment. They have asked which bag I recommend between the Tempête from Delvaux and the Diane L30 from Duclos. I'm Anesu Sagonda and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things, whether you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, or you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying better quality from the get-go, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on high quality, under the radar brands, then my content is geared towards you. Delvaux and Duclos are both within super premium level of luxury. I'm going to attach above a video where I talk in detail about the different levels of luxury. Apologies to my regular viewers. You hear this all the time, but if you haven't watched that video, please do take a look at it. It's an old video, but it's incredibly relevant and will always be relevant because it helps you to understand the different levels of luxury, price points, and what are you getting at the different price points. With super premium, it's bags that are typically priced between £3,000 and £5,000. That's their core offering. And that price can come down, it can go above, well above, depending of course on the size of the bag, the leathers used, and of course the complexity of the design. Delvaux is a Belgian brand. It's actually the oldest leather goods company in the world. It was founded in 1829. Duclos is a French brand that was founded in 1754. It was a family-run business when it was first founded, and it operated as a tannery that has supplied exceptional quality leathers for furniture production. They supplied the army, for example. And as a tannery, it operated until 1850, at which point it closed down. And then in 2021, Frank Dahan revived the brand, and he coupled what they were initially known for, a tannery supplying exceptional quality leathers, and he has introduced products that are on equal measure. They are incredibly well made. So they're now focused on producing exceptional quality products made from the finest quality leathers in the world. I'm going to split this video into 5, possibly 6 sections, just for ease of discussion between the two brands, the two bags. Delvaux source the majority of their leathers in France, and their bags are produced between 3 ateliers. They work with 2 ateliers in France and 1 in Belgium. In Belgium, they produce all of the exotic leather bags and all of their high craftsmanship pieces. So I'd imagine the Brion, the Tempête, for example, would be produced in Belgium. With Duclos, they only source leathers from France, and all of their bags are made by ateliers in France. It's incredibly significant when you say you're using French leathers, especially top end of the market. There's a small number of tanneries, and there used to be many tanneries before. They've whittled down to a small number. They're now focused on producing the very best quality leathers in the world, literally. But there are other regions that do process leathers. Think of Italy, Spain, you have Thailand, Korea, China, Argentina, for example. I'm going to visit a couple of those tanneries, and I'm going to talk about different tanneries, different regions. What are you getting? What are you paying for? And I'm also going to bring into that conversation bags made in different regions. What does it mean when your bag is French made, Spanish, Italian, Thai, Chinese, for example? Because I think it's an incredibly important conversation to be had, especially when you're paying a lot of money for bags, and more so for people who really want to understand leather goods. What are they paying for? What does that premium encompass? So if it's something that's important to you, please do subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. It's a video I have been planning for a long time, and I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to putting it together for you. So both brands are focused on Duclos exclusively, sourcing leathers from France, Delvaux, the majority of their leathers. So they are focused on using the very best quality leathers in the world to begin with. With Delvaux, they have a leather that's been exclusively processed for them by one of the French tanneries. It's called crispy calf. It's an incredibly elegant calf skin leather. It has a natural grain pattern. It's called crispy calf because just before the tanning process, they add a lot of salt to the leather, and it just helps to to make it crispy. It draws out the moisture and makes the leather crispy. And in that crispiness, it accentuates the natural grain pattern of the leather. So all of that grain pattern is absolutely natural. There's nothing that's stamped or artificially added to that. And then what you get is a tree-like ridge that's placed in the center back of the bag. And you just see the tree-like ridge at the back. And that's part of the natural pattern of the leather. And then Joseph Duclos, I'm going to be focused on the Diane L30 as been requested, but the heritage leather. The heritage leather is their most iconic leather. It's also a leather that's revered by many brands. It's Novo Napa from a tannery called Haas, and it's used by Hermes. They refer to it as Barenia. Joseph Duclos heritage. It's a leather that other tanneries have tried to copy over the years, but unsuccessfully. It's an absolutely beautiful, smooth calf skin. Vegetal tanned, it comes in certain colors. You're not going to get it in every color, but the beauty of the smooth calf skin is that it's a very heavily moisturized calf skin. It's going to be oily, and over time it's going to darken, it's going to patina wonderfully, and then the oil helps to minimize on scuffing. So they soak up the scuffs if they're light scuffs. If they're heavy scuffs, over time they will fade, they will lighten because of the oil, the natural composition of the leather. It hasn't been processed, so it's a living, breathing leather. It's absolutely beautiful leather. So we have two very different leathers: the smooth calf skin, the Diane L30, and then the natural grained crispy calf from Delvaux. The Diane L30 is 30 centimeters in length, 21 centimeters in height, and 13.5 centimeters in width, and it's priced at £6,200. The Tempête comes in 3 size options in the crispy calf. The smaller size, 21 centimeters in length, is too small a size to compare with the Diane L30. It's priced at £5,500. What I would compare, like for like, slightly smaller, is 27.5 centimeters in length, 23 centimeters in height, and 9 centimeters in width, priced at £5,800. That is the medium size. The size above that, the extra large, I think is just simply too big. It becomes a very big bag that's very different in terms of the look and feel and what I would recommend in terms of usage. It's 43.5 centimeters in length, it's 30 centimeters in height, and it's 16 centimeters in width, and it's priced at £7,300. So what I would compare is the 27.5 centimeters to the Diane L30, which is 30 centimeters in length. The difference in hardware between the two brands is literally day and night. Delvaux's hardware is catalog made, and it literally comes from a catalog. I'm not overly familiar with Richemont's portfolio of brands because they're not really focused on the high quality under the radar. When it comes to leather goods, I'm a lot more interested in their watches, but the last time I checked, they didn't have any hardware brands within their portfolio. So I would imagine Delvaux go through to one of the numerous brands I've mentioned that are focused on producing high quality hardware. Think of brands like Riri, Lampo, Cocagne. Recently I mentioned Metal on Demand, and they'll go through their catalog, and because they're typically producing fairly sizable quantities, they can tweak certain elements of the design, and then it comes from a catalog. But they will go for the very best in that catalog when it comes to the quality of the materials that are used, the base material, what they use to plate. It's not going to tarnish. The design itself is going to be very well made, very well considered and executed. And then on top of that, recently Delvaux changed the Tempête. They changed a number of features, including the hardware. I'm going to attach the video above where I talk about that. What they changed on the front of the bag is it's now a magnetic component to open and close the bag. So the force is fairly solid, it's very good. If you're to run or drop the bag or jump, it's not going to open. The flap will stay in place. So although it's catalog hardware, they've gone for the very best in terms of the quality of the materials used, the performance. It's not going to tarnish, it's going to last the entire life of the bag and very comfortably uphold Delvaux's standards. Whereas Joseph Duclos, oh my goodness, they've literally outdone themselves and they've gone the whole 9 yards, and they've gone for custom hardware. The type of hardware you typically get from the custom brands, so think of brands that are, I wouldn't even say ultra high end, the top level of luxury, bespoke, typically charging £10,000 and above for a bag. And with the bespoke, there's no expense spared. They go for absolutely the best of everything. and Joseph Duclos have done this with every aspect of the bag, but they're charging retail prices. With the custom hardware, Ramesh Nair, the creative director, has designed the hardware. It's then been hand tooled, hand polished. And then on top of that, to add to the complexity, another dimension to custom hardware is if you opt for custom hardware, you also need to create the tools to make the hardware. So that's all part and parcel of what you're getting. The hardware is absolutely superb. The way it's made, the material, the base material is solid brass. It's not, there isn't any hollow elements to it. It's solid, it's weighted. The superior quality of the coating that they use, palladium or whether it's gold, it doesn't tarnish, the brilliance doesn't diminish at all. And then they've also gone for plating that is jewelry quality. So it's between 1.5 to 3 microns in terms of the thickness of the plating material that's used. So you have an absolutely outstanding product. How it's made, the product's used, how it performs, it'll last. Aesthetically, it's absolutely stunning. You won't see anything like it in the market. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's custom hardware from Joseph Duclos. And then you have catalog hardware from Delvaux. It's a fairly simple, straightforward design. No fuss, but they've gone for the best. Tempête is a flap over top handle bag. The design of the bag is a design you see a lot of other brands producing. So it's not an overly complicated, unique design. It's a fairly straightforward design. Each brand brings in their own tweak, own quirk to the design, but the design itself is fairly straightforward and not difficult design to execute. Delvaux is a brand that's been in free fall for a while. It's owned by Richemont. It was bought in 2021, at which point the creative director left the brand. And the brand has since been run by a team of designers. At the top end, you need a creative director steering the ship. I don't think a brand can go up, can improve with just a design team. You've seen, for example, issues at Moina. And then we have Bulgari, for example, recently introduced a creative director, Mary Katransu. They need a creative director to take them to the next level. And Delvaux makes me incredibly anxious because they don't have one. I hope there comes a point where I can engage with the brand and get a better understanding of products, how they're made, the leathers and so forth. But at the moment, that's not possible. But what I can see, the little I can see, and what I've experienced with the brand is whenever I've mentioned stuff online, I know many of you ask me to talk more about Delvaux, but I'm anxious about the fact that they don't have a creative director. And I don't know who's in charge of maintaining consistency, because there was a time, there were a couple of niggles I had with the brand, mentioned them, and then the next time I went into the store, I noticed there were changes. So I think they do listen, they're responsive, which is important, but they still need a creative director. It would be great to engage and just find out more details so consumers better understand what they're paying for and what they're getting. But in terms of the craft, it's fairly simple, it's straightforward, it's not a design that's overly complicated. When you look at the outside, the stitching is neat, it's even, the tension is consistent throughout. It's absolutely beautifully sewn. There's nothing I can fault about it. It would be great to get a better understanding of the craft, and fingers crossed we've put it out there. In time, I hope our community will be able to engage with Delvaux. But as you all know, I've been able to engage with Joseph Duclos, and they have a press day coming up later on this year, September, October. And I've specifically asked if we can see the craft that goes into the Diane. So I'll be able to talk about that in detail, because I've had a number of you mention, why am I paying a premium for a no-name brand? A video where I'm able to showcase exactly how a Diane is made, blow by blow, is exactly what helps consumers to understand what they're getting in the premium. So I look forward to doing that. And of course, when you look at the stitching, the Diane, just like the Delvaux, it's neat, it's even, consistent tension throughout. It is flawlessly sewn. It's absolutely beautiful. And I look forward to talking in detail about the craft and other brands as well to follow. One thing I've been able to figure out very quickly, the more I know, I meet with brands, is the edge coating is literally what distinguishes the girls from the women. A number of brands, a lot of brands will cut corners, will scrimp, will cut costs by not edge coating the inside of the bag. Edge coating significantly adds to the cost of the bag because it takes time, it's expensive. The products apply the edge coating, you prepare the edge, apply the edge coating, let it dry, the second layer, the third layer, and it has to be done evenly, neatly, consistently throughout for it to really be good. And especially at the top end of the market, brands like Delvaux, Duclos, the type of edge coating they want to put on their bags. If it's done properly, it's going to be expensive, it's going to take time, it's labor intensive. And so brands will scrimp on that. And I remember looking at the Tempête, and when I was really scrutinizing it, the outside, I looked at the edge coating, I thought, oh my goodness, I cannot fault any element of the edge coating. If I did, I'd be a hater. Then I opened the inside and I noticed the inside, it was all turned edges. And I thought, I don't want to make a mockery. I don't want to belittle Delvaux because it's a fantastic brand. I like it. But turned edges are just a very quick, easy and cheap way of protecting the edges. It looks neat, it looks nice. We're done, we're finished. But then you look at Duclos and it's the total opposite. And I remember when I first met with Ramesh, and I was talking to him in detail about his bags, and we talked about the edge coating. It's something I'll always ask about. And he said, I don't scrimp. Every single edge is edge coated. It takes time, it takes skill, but that is what you're paying for. That is what is also priced into the premium of the bag. And it's done incredibly well. I remember when I spoke about the best tote, it's a video that's doing really well. And I showed the edge coating on the tote and then compared it to a bag that was almost double the price, the Andiamo from Bottega Veneta, and the edge coating they put on their edges versus Duclos, which was exemplary, which is what the Andiamo should have been. And I just thought, oh my goodness, edge coating they are part of the details you need to look at together with everything else. But the edge coating is something that when I discover a brand and I see their bags for the first time, that is what I look at. And to me, that very quickly helps me put it into a category, and I know what level of luxury, what level of detail, what level of finish are we getting from this product. You compare the Tempête and the Diane L30. It is, unfortunately, day and night. The finish, the edge coating on the Diane L30, it's superb, it's outstanding. On the Tempête, they've done a fantastic job on the outside. But once we look at the inside, that's where they've scrimped and they've cut corners a little bit, which is a little sad. And I wonder if it's something that'll change once they have a creative director and they have somebody who starts to raise the standards, the quality throughout the product, and not lower things or do things differently because they're trying to eliminate or reduce the margin for error. I don't know. Which of the two bags would I recommend? It's a shame I didn't ask, or I don't know what your lifestyle looks like and what you need the bags for. The Tempête is an elegant, ladylike bag. It's a feminine bag. It's a pretty bag. And every time I look at it, even if I don't look at it for a long time, whenever I look at it again, regardless of the leather, I always just think, what a pretty bag. Very ladylike, feminine bag. And I like the fact that regardless of the leather, you have a fairly diverse selection of colors for you to choose from and sizes. The 21, more so, yes, the 27.5 that I'm comparing with the Diane L30, incredibly elevated, elegant, everyday bag. Wherever you carry it, people will notice it, people will look at it, and particularly a color, a popping color, it really stands out. I think it's pretty. But there isn't a bag in the retail space or a brand that can compete with Duclos at the moment. When you consider, for example, the leathers they're using, the craftsmanship that goes into their bags, the level of finish, the details, the hardware, and then also the aesthetic. Ramesh has just taken things to a whole different level. You have the aspirational brands, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Fendi, Prada, for example. And then a level above them, the brands I talk about, high quality under the radar, think of Valextra, Colombo, Moreau, Delvaux, a new French brand I've been asked about, I'll talk about L'Étrange. You have those confidently hovering above the aspirational brands in terms of the quality, the high quality of the leathers they're using, the craftsmanship, the finish, the quality of the work, all of that. And then you have confidently head and shoulders ahead of all of those, literally on a pedestal, with everybody looking up to them for guidance, for direction, because they're setting the pace and the tone confidently for What is luxury at the top end? It's Joseph Duclos, and then the L30. I've spoken about it in its own right as the ultimate power bag because the bag is absolutely outstanding. It's arresting. And I remember getting the visuals as part of the press pack and thinking, wow, this is beautiful. And it's not often I like a bag based on pictures, because pictures is all about photography. You manipulate the angle, the lighting. I know how it works. But when I saw the L30, and this was pictures that were taken on the iPhone, I thought, oh, this is nice. And I thought, I can't wait to see it in person. And when I did, I had to take a moment and just take it all in, because it's an absolutely outstanding bag. The high quality of the leathers they've used, the craftsmanship that's gone into it, the details, the hardware, little strips on the underside, just to elegantly elevate the bag, the shape of the bag, the handle. Oh my goodness, I just thought this is absolutely stunning. And it's a bag I personally aspire to. It comes in 3 colors, and the one that brilliantly showcases the heritage leather is the Chatania color, the chestnut color. It's absolutely exquisite. And then coupled with the gold hardware, absolutely beautiful. And without any hesitation, that is what I would recommend. I hope it works with your lifestyle, but my goodness, this is a power bag. Wherever you go, regardless of what you wear or what you're doing, people will notice the bag. It looks expensive, but it's a fraction of the price of what you should actually be paying. It's custom level product being sold at a super premium price, and it has the real wow factor. And I just hope more of you are able to see Joseph Duclos bags, to see the L30. Then you really get to appreciate the magic firsthand of what is the appeal. I get consistently asked, why would I pay 6,000 for a no-name brand? But you are getting absolutely outstanding quality, craftsmanship, and beautiful designs, very well executed products. So without any hesitation, I don't think there is a retail brand at the moment or bag that can compete with what the L30 very confidently brings to the table. Let me know what you think to my viewer. Do you have any other questions? As always, let me know in the comments down below.